It is wrong to somehow suggest that an undocumented immigrant is a criminal. Being an undocumented immigrant is not a crime. I know what a crime looks like. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. 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 An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal, and we have to correct course in this conversation. We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
All right. I think we are here. Hopefully everybody can hear me just fine. So, welcome once again to the beatzillapdx official show. I am your host, beatzillapdx officially, and this is the midweek report news break edition. And that means that this is a tape delayed broadcast. It might be appearing as if it is live streaming in your notifications, but this is tape delayed. We're just airing through StreamYard. So with that being said, as you're coming into this broadcast, if you could kindly hit that like button, hit that share button, and if you are already a member of or a subscriber of this channel, hit that notification bell. But if you're not a subscriber of this channel and you're watching on X, then come on over here to the beatzillapdx official YouTube channel and subscribe. Then all of you together hit that notification bell, hit the word all. That way you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded or premieres. Also, you can become a member of this channel as well by hitting the join button. And as some of the members could tell you, that some of them have seen some of the videos that have aired even this week before everybody else. So that is one of the things that you will get in the members area, as well as other content that will never be on the general public side. So that being said, is Joe Biden throwing shade at Kamala Harris? That's kind of interesting to see. Can't help but notice. You know, Kamala's been out doing her media blitz, as they're saying. And so in turn has Joe Biden. He has found himself to get up off the beach. He's even canceled some of his appearances and trips just to let everybody know that he's still the president. And obviously, some people over there on the Kamala side are taking things not so lightly and so well. We've heard in these media streets that there has been a little bit of rumblings between the camps. And again, I asked y'all just the other day, is there an issue going on here between the two camps? As it's turning out, it appears that it is. And some people speculate. I've seen some of the news feeds that kind of suggest that maybe Dr. Jill Biden is kind of helping orchestrate this whatever it is that you're seeing. But at the end of the day, I guess it's kind of fitting when you take into consideration how they've done Joe Biden as the Democratic Party. He actually got the votes to become the presumptive nominee again as sitting president. But after his debate with the infamous debate with Donald Trump, his opponent, the Democrats saw fit to remove and have basically force Joe Biden out of the race. And instead of elevating another party in the candidate or another candidate in the party, they elected to go with Kamala Harris. And she's having quite the time of proving herself here because she's been invisible for the last few years. Although some of these things that now you're hearing Joe Biden consistently saying that he gave her and delegated stuff to her, that she should be just as astute on a lot of these issues as she is. I mean, as he is. Which, some of these international conversations, that doesn't seem to be happening. Then also within the midst of this, try to play some political game and say that she was calling Governor DeSantis and he wasn't answering to get whatever he needed. So it was his fault and he was being selfish and playing politics and yada, yada. As it turns out, DeSantis already talked to Joe Biden and it's like, I don't know what she's talking about. So he's not being deprived of anything because he's already dealing with the president. So, with Joe Biden coming out, reminding everybody that he actually is the president, is that him just doing his job? Or is that him throwing a little shade at Kamala Harris? What do y'all think? Some people would probably say that, hey, it does actually feel like a little bit of shade, if you're being honest. Just saying. But, that is what we are talking about this evening. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. And peace, power, blessings, and protection be upon each and every one of you. I appreciate it. And special shout out to the members and financial supporters of this channel. Thank you. So going back, and let's just have a refresher on the press conference of Joe Biden last week, during the time when Kamala Harris was doing another appearance. So let's check out what he said.
There have obviously been a number of crises that the country has been facing over the past several days, with the hurricane, with the port strike, with the situation in the Middle East. Can you talk about how your vice president, who is running for the presidency, has worked on these crises and what role she has played over the past several days?
Well, I'm in constant contact with her. She's aware we're singing from the same song sheet. She helped pass all the laws that are being employed now. She was a major player in everything we've done, including passage of legislation which we were told we could never pass. And so she's been, and her staff is interlocked with mine in terms of all the things we're doing.
Well, See, there's no separation, and they, oh, well, I'm not Joe Biden, and most of all, I'm not Trump. Not sure what that really means. Of course, you're not Trump and you're not Joe Biden. But the one thing is you are definitely part of this administration and have been for quite some time now. And it's time to actually act like you know the job. A lot of people think that there's looking at how a lot of blue, no matter who people look at it, they are looking at her through pink and green glasses. They can see nothing else. And refuse to. And so much so that, some people might even put extras on it. I'm watching people talking about, and they're comfortable with this conversation, how they are unfriending people because of their political position, because they don't rock with Kamala Harris. That's insane. They don't see. Here's the problem, Black folks. Not everybody accepts her as a Black woman, because to most of us with common sense can tell you she ain't no Black woman. She most definitely does not carry the Black American experience, so we owe her nothing there either. So to say that because she's melanated somehow we owe something to support her, that's crazy. No, we don't. And as long as we can be there, why are we talking about tethers? Because those are melanated people that look like us to undermine us. What different role does she have to play than them? She's been there in this administration all this time, and this is the skill that her and Doug can show you. They can show you that they know how to, well, barely know how to use a shovel. Here, let's plant this tree. Doug, you do all the work. I'm gonna move a little dirt around here and act like we're doing something. From that middle class upbringing, I guess one of the things that she never had to do was ever dig a hole with a shovel or fill a hole with a shovel, either or. Because she looked very unfamiliarized with that shovel. Imagine that, being middle class and all. Because people like their lawns. And if you're doing yard work, there's a strong chance that you might be using a shovel from time to time. Oh, well, people believe it anyway, because she's Kamala Harris, and Ski-Wee, and Sister Girl. My mother and my grandmothers just so they would be so proud if they were here. Their dreams are being fulfilled with Kamala Harris. While some of us have good sense and saying she's not Black, my grandmother would have called that out right off the rip. I can tell you that. She ain't one of us. Who is this girl? Who is this white woman? That's what my grandmother would have said. Who's this white woman? Who's this tan white woman? No, that's Kamala. Oh, what's she supposed to be? Folks are running around here now. Don't let these new folks start changing what we know. We not tethers, folks, and we don't have that tether upbringing. So let's leave they stuff to them, because people, asking this and how do you know? That's how you also can spot a tether, is the fact that they'll always be talking about phenotype. Okay, I can go for phenotype. I'll tell you what, give me my lips, and I mean my lips and my mouth shape. Give me my eyes and my eye shape around America, and see how many of my folks you can't line up with me. Then go to Africa and see how many folks you could see line up with me. I guarantee you could go over to Europe and see more of them Moorish remnant folks over there, and then be like, oh, okay, they look like. Did y'all watch the Olympics and notice that when they were showing like Black folks from France and some Black folks from England, not all, but some, they got our hairlines. I'm looking at all these heads. I'm like, man, that's kind of interesting, but it makes sense. It's like, see, nobody ever wants to talk about our relation to them. And we're actually people that literally do look like we could be coming from the same folk. But nobody wants us in America to talk about that. They want to talk about Africa. And you got a bunch of dusty Africans in your face screaming on you about, hey, you don't know who you are, and you don't know your history, and you don't know your culture. Hey, maybe you should holler at them, and maybe we should get together with all them other folks that are surrounded by Europeans. Maybe we have something in common. Making sure that our number stays so small and all. Maybe we have something in common with them. Maybe we should go over there and see her. They should come over here and we see what's happening. We could talk to them. Because if you think about it, all the cats that call into these spaces from places like England or something, they're all African. Where are all the brothers over there? They don't be calling on there. They are all to themselves, and they ain't fooling with the Africans. Y'all notice that? Like they're coming over here having conversation with us, they have ties to an African nation now. What about them folks that been over there all this time? What's up with them? Who are they? And who are they to us? Because I can ask that question all day long about Africa. Tell me about the continent. Okay, why is there no one over there that looks like me? Like I said, I can go look over there in Europe and start seeing amongst the Africans, these other black folks that, y'all don't look like all these Africans. Not to mention your hairlines ain't nothing like theirs. Your hairlines like ours. How'd that happen? And again, start getting down to that historical connection. Ain't nobody rushing out to scream Pan-Africanism on that, though. Funny. It's just like a whole continent of black folks that they just like, yeah, well, let's not worry about that. That tells me something. Just saying. That's why I always keep talking about. Tell us about them black folks in Europe. Let's not skip over that to go talk about Africa. Africa never ruled white folks like that. Let's talk about them. The ones who was ruling. The ones, see, and this would be one of the main reasons why people here don't want us to have reparations, and they also want our head so far up Africa's ass. Because then we're not going to be thinking, oh no, we understand our birthright. Because we hail from different folks. And we are the only people on the planet who had them folks under subjection. So no other group on the planet Earth would these people ever fear coming up than us. See, that's why everybody else is like, what y'all gonna do with the money? Y'all get reparations, what you gonna do? Y'all gonna start... Y'all just gonna see wishful thinking is that y'all just buy Jordans. Understand, they terrified. What y'all gonna do? Why is everybody, well, since when and when other groups are going to be repaired for the harm done to them by a government? Whoever is out there at the forefront of the conversation, what they gonna do with the money? Come over here to black folks, man, how y'all gonna spend it? Well, we need, before they give us some money, we need financial literacy. Shut your coon ass up. I mean, we need to be financially literate, y'all. You are soul illiterate. Your soul is black, the void of knowledge and understanding. To say some ignorant, foolish nonsense like that. And I've seen many people come and try it in our spaces even. Man, you know what? Even more important, man, than, money and cash reparations right now, man, is education and financial education, So when they dole out those checks, they also need to be given, or before they do, maybe even before they give the money out, they start giving financial literacy to Black men. Shut up. You know what financial literacy is best, where it's best exemplified by having finances. Not saying teach me about what it's like. No, you learn by getting it. Just like everyone else. Who else had to learn about literacy? What kind of conversation is that to Black America? That's about saying the same thing as like Magic Johnson to Black men. We need to let Black men know that they need to get out and vote. Man, that Trump, he sure promised the Black community a lot of things. No, dude, he didn't. He ain't the one in office right now. Joe Biden is. And he's the one who promised Black folks a lot of stuff and didn't deliver. Oh, well, it was this. Had 2 years of a stacked deck. There's no excuse. Dead brain, quiet, backstabbing, Congressional Black Caucus, do nothing caucus, have a bill for HR 40, and they just get out and do a hearing when you actually have a stacked deck. Put the bill through. They don't. And now Kamala Harris is going to tell you that can, and HR 40 is a dead bill, by the way. You would have to reintroduce the bill anyway. But she's talking about putting a study up for Congress. Now, I want y'all to pay attention that she really wasn't talking about HR 40 because she understands HR 40 is pretty much dead. You would have to present a new bill with a new study. So that's why she started referring about new studies. Now, understand when she could understand and steer the conversation with ease. She was as comfortable steering the conversation away from cash payment reparations as she is talking about abortion. Put that in perspective. She's as comfortable talking against reparations as she fluid. Like when they asked her about reparations, oh, she flim-flammed, and I ain't gonna say I'm gonna do anything against the Black people. She was ready to answer that. When it come down to doing nothing for Black people, boy, she is Johnny on the spot, just like she is about abortion. And somehow Black folks still telling themselves, we're winning with Kamala. Meanwhile,
so I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
So to the point of this broadcast, let's hear from Joe again.
As far as
the governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday, and I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. But we got a lot more to do.
Now y'all might ask why we would say and ask if that is shade, but stuff like this occurs. I guess there's reasons.
So please do that. The other point I make is that there's a lot of mis and disinformation being pushed out there by the former president about what is available, in particular to the survivors of bullying. And first of all, it's extraordinarily irresponsible. It's about him. It's not about you. And the reality now, resources that are about helping people get back on their feet and rebuild and have places to go. You are entitled to these resources. People are entitled to these resources, and it is critically important that people apply for the help that is there to support. That all of those resources were created for just these kinds of moments in an emergency situation, knowing that folks are entitled to have the relief that they so rightly need at this moment in time. So listen to your sheriffs around the places that have been impacted by Helene. Listen to your local sheriff who's going to tell you straight about what's available to you and how, for so many reasons and ways, there are no conditions attached to the relief that's available to you.
Yeah, we're finding out that's not true. But then also, you know, to know that they asked her about DeSantis declining the call. And DeSantis went up there and kind of checked her, or, you know, went on Fox News and kind of checked her because, you know, I guess, you know, he felt, of course, that she was trying to politicize the moment. And he had already talked to Joe Biden, as you already heard. Matter of fact, I believe is this the same one? Hold on.
President, Governor DeSantis, NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Now, had that been true, okay. But again, let's go back to what Joe Biden just said.
As far as
The governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday.
Whoops.
And I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. But we got a lot more to do.
Just can't help but notice, you know, and to follow that up, then DeSantis goes on the record himself.
Listen to what she said. Well, we don't have the sound, but she said, you know, moment of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone calls himself a leader says they're going to.
We know what she said. Now let me go here because I want to catch his rebuttal here. Okay.
Impacts from Hurricane Milton, be able to have rescue personnel ready to help people, and then, of course, help with the power restoration, all these things to do. So that's been my sole focus. My focus has not been on dealing with Kamala Harris. I saw the news report. I didn't know she tried to contact me, but I'd also say it's not about you, Kamala. Right. It's about the people of Florida. My focus is exactly where it should be. And I can tell you this, I've worked on these hurricanes under both President Trump and President Biden. Neither of them ever tried to politicize it. She has never called on any of the storms we've had since she's been vice president until apparently now. Why all of a sudden is she trying to parachute in and inject herself when she's never shown any interest in the past? We know it's because of politics. We know it's because of her campaign. I have zero time to entertain these political games. We're going to continue to do what we need to do to prepare and respond to what may be one of the most damaging storms in the history of the United States.
Now, I'll stop that right there. One of the most damaging series of storms, actually, it's probably going to be in American history, recent American history, and to double down on the state of Florida, matter of fact. So he's right. You know, she's trying to politicize it. Look how she's doing. Now, here's another thing. In the midst of all of this going on, she's still campaigning. Not thinking for a moment that maybe this very moment should be about the people. And when you turn it about the people, that is when you win over the people. And we're going into an election, and somebody in the Kamala camp didn't see this as an opportunity to show how presidential she could be. Instead, you showed how much of an opportunist she is. And that's on no one else. You can't say that's black men and no. Americans are suffering right now. About to have a major hurricane and another major hurricane within a couple weeks. Direct hit. And they had to get out of here. We're talking about, you're worried about fighting disinformation and misinformation, which in all actuality is only supporting the notion of censorship, which these people have been doing. And if you understand why you're hearing Hillary Clinton talking about censorship, because she still, never forget that these people still are upset at Tariq Nasheed for Hillary Clinton losing in 2016. Remember, they're upset at him. So by proxy, they're upset at all the grassroots, especially now. So as the grassroots have expanded and the voices of new black media have been more prominent and dominant, these people haven't forgot who we are. Now you have to talk about foundational black American and mainstream news? What that mean? Everybody sit up here, oh man, you know, this group and that group and this group's a cult and that, none of it matters, because a lineage is a lineage. All you're talking about are black Americans. That's an ignorant conversation to start talking about. I don't recognize it. It doesn't change it. It doesn't matter. I mean, if I'm a carpenter, I'm a black man. I'm still from the same lineage. I'm a baker, still from the same lineage. I'm a judge, still from the same lineage. I'm a politician, still from the same lineage. Guys catching on? Regardless of the title, doesn't change my family lineage. No matter my skin color or tone or FBA hairline, to which a lot of you don't have. Doesn't change my family lineage. And by the way, I'm an Israelite, if you guys did, for those who don't know. So I don't line my hair up. I don't trim up my beard like that. You'll just see the length. So there's certain ways I carry myself that other people don't. And I see some idiots, because obviously you're tethers and you're so used to doing what you do. You didn't understand this part of our culture. Because, yeah, it's actually part of our culture, too. Contrary to popular belief. Like, if you start going through American history, some of the oldest writings in this land, mind you, there were no red, white-looking Indians at the time, by the way. So those dark-skinned ones, they were speaking and writing in Hebrew. Some of the oldest writing found in the land of America is Hebrew. And it's under Cherokee writings. Not the Yiddish stuff that they speak now. I'm talking Phoenician, going with the house and all of that. You understand? So when people want to get into that type of history, it's available to you. But a lot of these tethers, man, they ain't going that deep. And a lot of these people up here running and chasing for clout, they ain't running that deep neither. So they all surface individuals. Take that for what it is. But for those of us who have been strongly and deeply invested into Black empowerment for decades, you know, now is a time that we can literally see how jilted and jolted the masses are. And it's very apparent that they're jilted and jolted. You know how you know? Is because when we are now talking about what we need, Black men are speaking. Now they have to send out somebody at a rally that, of course, Black men ain't at, but you had to televise it. So you get Magic Johnson to come out and, I got to talk to Black men. We got Black men. They need to know. Know what, man? Because here's the thing. Black men don't need to know nothing but where to go pick up that check. So Black men are out here speaking a political position. It's not that we're uninformed and that people aren't ignorant out here. So that's the lie that they keep telling again, because that is only, and that right there is a Democrat thing to combat Black empowerment. Why would you be a Democrat that is actively putting things in place to combat Black empowerment? Why is that your choice? So that means, number one, you're over here running with the eugenicists. And I see so many of you Black church folks out here selling your souls for this woman. It's amazing. I mean, most of y'all did it in the first place for Anthony Fauci, but I'm saying, I mean, when y'all, because y'all show where you put your faith in. You see, the I'm blessed and highly favored line doesn't go well with I got to do this because of whatever. Blue no matter who. That's a blue God. And you got these folks up here basically telling you anything they want to at this point. You got to talk to Black men. No, the hell you don't. And then you have, like I said, you keep having these folks coming around here. They were trying to push all other kind of agendas on us. Sexism is worse than racism. Yeah. Do I have that in here? Oh, I ain't gonna play that one. I guess I don't. Okay. Guess I didn't have that in here. Okay. So let me maneuver here. And I want to go to some of the things that Kamala was talking about. Now, this one, just a short clip, and it's a short question from The View because this is extremely important.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
If anything, would you have done anything different than Joe Biden in the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
That's no change. And you're talking about going forward. How are you going forward when that's all you're offering? That's and then so from this 60 minutes interview, I want to play some snippets of sound. Let's see what I want to start. Let's start right here. Okay, just playing the audio. No need to copyright strike.
We supply Israel with billions of dollars in military aid. And yet Prime Minister Netanyahu seems to be charting his own course. The Biden-Harris administration has pressed him to agree to a ceasefire. He's resisted. You urged him not to go into Lebanon. He went in anyway. He has promised to make Iran pay for the missile attack, and that has the potential of expanding the war. Does the U.S. have no sway over Prime Minister Netanyahu?
Now, think of how many tax dollars we are spending. And this man, yeah, and wondering why you're seeing all of these Americans protesting for Palestine. Because, yeah, in some regard, you're making people liable for this because this is our tax dollars going over there. And I say I don't support it. I don't support Americans supporting genocide. And I most definitely don't support them giving all this money to the people to whom have no regard for even their black citizens. And then the other thing that they did, like the one Bush League thing that they tried to pull on Ta-Nehisi Coates the other day, is that interview. I'm sure you guys saw it on CBS, where they were trying to make it seem like something else. Let me tell you something. Black folks, don't you ever feel ashamed for not participating in bandwagon in somebody else's cause. Your folks and the things that you should know inherently right here. When people's like, oh, y'all calling it an apartheid state. I'm glad that Ta-Nehisi's coach sat up there on that stage and did that. Because that is what he saw. And he told people what he saw. And then he could refer back to his upbringing and his culture. And building and dwelling on that. See, no other group, these tethers can't say that about their culture. You can't shut up the little hats. But at the end of the day, when you start talking about persecution and oppression, ain't nobody that trumps us. There ain't. None. Zip, zilch, zero. There is not another group walking the face of the earth. So when they try to put up that's why they were over here trying to bombard black folks with yeah, why aren't you guys doing this? And what were they doing to us? Trying to shame us, because that's how you relate to black people. You shame black people into the way they want to go. It's like the opposite of the Bible. The Bible says train up a child in the way they should go. And they feel that they should shame black folks in the way that they want them to go, which is madness. I don't want none of that. Now let's hear, because you heard the question. We spending all this money. Do you guys have any sway? I don't know what they're talking about, sway. Hey, you stop this right now, and we cutting off the money. If we're funding it, then you should have all the say. I don't know what we're talking about here, but let's see what she has to say.
The aid that we have given Israel allowed Israel to defend itself against 200 ballistic missiles that were just meant to attack the Israelis and the people of Israel. And when we think about the threat,
there's Palestinians in Israel. There's black Jews in Israel. There's Ethiopian Jews in Israel.
That Hamas, Hezbollah presents, Iran, I think that it is without any question our imperative to do what we can to allow Israel to defend itself against those kinds of attacks. Now, the work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles, which include the need for humanitarian aid, the need for this war to end, the need for a deal to be done, which would release the hostages and create a ceasefire. And we're not going to stop in terms of putting that pressure on Israel and in the region, including Arab leaders.
But it's now, for those of you who have watched some of the re-aired edited clips, that little part of the answer that she just gave is now fast forwarded and it's clipped onto her response of this question here. So I'm going to actually play. This is how it really legitimately went. Because if you're wondering, why are you hearing these things out of sequence? It's because what they're airing right now on these platforms, that is edited. And now the Kamala Harris camp has now came out and they're trying to say that they had nothing to do with CBS re-editing these interviews and putting out these clips online. They're saying she had nothing to do with that. Wink, wink.
Seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
Our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region. Meaning control. You're trying to dictate what happens in a region to which it's not yours.
We have a real close ally in Prime Minister Netanyahu.
I think, with all due respect, the better question is, do we have an important alliance between the American people and the Israeli people? And the answer to that question is yes.
That was a good, solid answer on the end. I'll give her that. That was solid. That was a solid answer. Let's see. But what I wanted to point out about that is, you see how they had to switch that. So if you have watched the new clips and you're probably wondering why that sounds off, because what I just played was the uncut version of what they're now posting. Because now they're posting things to make Kamala Harris look a lot better, instead of maintaining their journalistic integrity. But instead, they have joined the DNC and decided to do damage control and re-edit these clips from 60 Minutes, and now putting answers onto questions as if they're happening real time immediately. And we all know they didn't. We all know they didn't do it. So there's that. Okay, that's that one. Let's see. Let me go here. Let's see.
Seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Okay, that's the same one. That has been reworked. I think this is the one I want.
Tell you what your critics and the columnists say.
Okay.
They say that the reason so many voters don't know you is that you have changed your position on so many things. You were against fracking, now you're for it. You supported looser immigration policies, now you're tightening them up. You were for Medicare for all, now you're not. So many that people don't truly know what you believe or what you stand for. And I know you've heard that.
In the last 4 years, I have been Vice President of the United States.
Yeah.
And I have been traveling our country. And I have been listening to folks and seeking what is possible in terms of common ground. I believe in building consensus. We are a diverse people, geographically, regionally, in terms of where we are in our backgrounds. And what the American people do want is that we have leaders who can build consensus, where we can figure out compromise and understand it's not a bad thing, as long as you don't compromise your values, to find common sense solutions. And that has been my approach.
Interesting. Very interesting. What do y'all think about that? I mean, really, what do you think about that? More flim-flamming. But even more so, I can't help but think of the other part that she's running on, which of course she's running on abortion. I don't know any candidate that's ran on that. But she herself is running on abortion, and that's what she wants everybody to know. And so, let me get this.
When I had to look for the body.
Let me get this queued up. Because for those of y'all who believe that this woman is not as wicked as we say, and you guys have bought into the woman's body and all of this garbage, the woman's body at the point of having a baby in it or being pregnant now has another body attached to it. That is the nature of life. And now what people have got you convinced of is that you should take it upon yourself. They'll try to tell you about all of the scenarios of essays, situations. Those are exceptions. However, that's still a being. I would never say I would be like forcing anybody to, not my personal feeling about that, but what I will say is I'm not for that at all. Because you never know what person will be. That is not up to you. That's kind of the point. But seeing the world we live in today, I understand trauma, the scars of that pain. And so, again, me personally, not for it. But as far as like if you were an official, would you put that as a law? We're going to punish you. At this stage in the game, no. But this is where the world is right now. However, to say that this is the main thing that people need to go invest in and invest all their energy in and their mind towards saving and propping up, heck no. This was initially dubbed the Negro Project. So it's eugenics, looking at extermination. And so now that Black folks, again, have kind of got more on the adult train versus knucklehead nonsense, demon time crap. Granted, you got people on that, but a lot of them are not foundational Black Americans anyway. So getting to what we really are, another part of our community is family. And Kamala Harris is, of course, not a mother. She calls herself a mother. She got with Doug, 10 years ago? How old are Doug's kids? They're grown. So they weren't little kids when they got together. So the whole like mom and mamala and all of that, let's see, this is 2014. They got together and married in 2013. So they've been married just over 10 years now. And this is so, none of this feels like opportunist to y'all. This feels like manufactured opportunity. But nonetheless, now she's picked something to run on. Let's look at what you people are supporting by supporting Kamala Harris.
When I had to look for the body parts, the 5 pieces of the baby, the first time I knew that was a human being. The scales fell off my eyes and I was literally in shock. And the abortionist came in to make sure that everything was in the Petri dish, right? This big dish that we had. And he was whistling, and I remember him saying to everybody, what are we all gonna have for lunch? when before this abortion, he told me to tell the young woman it was not a baby, it was a sack of tissue. And I remember screaming inside of myself, how can he not see what I'm seeing?
It's a sack of tissue. They are calling an aborted being a sack of tissue. And that is who you taking your medical advice from? The medical, it's between you and your doctor is demonic. You can fool yourselves about that altar of Molech if you want to, but all of you who are supporting that, just know, especially you Christians, in that Bible day, when Moses went up to the hill and Aaron and Miriam and the others started worshiping, they had the golden calf and started worshiping the golden calf. Y'all those folks. Y'all are not with Moses. Y'all the people who wanted to kill Moses when he came down the hill. Just so you know, I know, but see, ignorance is bliss, and a lie can get you drunk and blind just like wine. This here is the stone cold truth of what y'all keep just nonchalantly referring to. And it's so important and fighting mad that you got to be able to do this. This is the world we live in, and y'all people calling yourselves moral. How? This is death. Death. Don't worry, it's a sack of tissue. That is the advice you're getting from your doctor. It's between a woman and her doctor, and that's the message that the doctor is giving. All right.
Could you see? Could you see that those were babies?
I can answer that for myself. I cannot speak for any other abortionist in the world. Did I know those were human beings? Absolutely. I didn't care. I did not care.
So for those of you who are, especially those of y'all in that church, I'm just saying, that's what you are supporting. That's what you're supporting. Hope y'all know that. Not playing that to be overly somber, but I wanted to play that to make sure that you guys know what they're really, really pushing you and what this woman is all about. And that is what she and so many others want to see done to little black babies. They champion the woman who came up with the idea of this being pushed on us in the first place. Them to Hillary Clinton. They all praise Margaret Sanger, and that's what she wants done to little black babies. I, for myself, will have to say a big fat hell no. These folks are sick, ladies and gentlemen, and at the end of the day, these folks deserve what they deserve, and it ain't support. You're going to have to figure out at some point, where do you draw the line? Like I said, I see people out here looking to sever ties with friends and family because of not rocking with Kamala Harris. Just like Brother Phil Scott says, y'all are consumed with the blue God. That blue God has got you gone. so gone it ain't funny. And I hope that deliverance will find you. If this is you, I would hope that deliverance would be on the way for you, and get out of that muck and mire that you in, and wipe them scales off your eyes so you can see the truth. Because right now, a lot of you are just consumed in falsehood, which there is only one father of lies that has ever been known to exist. And last time I checked, he wasn't supposed to be the one you were worshiping. Unless you're dusty, weirdo, no-tooth drug addicts. But what I'm going to say, don't be a dumb Ghani. So in closing, I'm again going to play a clip from the TikTok sister who has been lambasting this administration with these TikToks. So before we get out of here, I'm gonna let this sister roll, and I'll come back on the close, and we gonna do it just like that. This him.
So now they throwing around the word misinformation. Well, was we misinformed when we heard what we heard directly from her mouth?
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750.
And was we also misinformed when the director of FEMA, Mayorkas, came out and said what he said? Or did he misspeak?
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Now, since y'all want to say everything is so misinformation and misinformed, I just have a few questions. That's it. Is the critical needs payout of $750 only a one-time payout per household, not per person, and you would need to qualify, which also indicates that you may be denied? Just asking. I have another question. Did FEMA not designate funding of over $1 billion for a illegal migrant program called Shelter in Place in 2023 and 2024? Another question that I may be misinformed about. Did FEMA not designate funding of about $685 billion for illegal migrants in an emergency food and shelter program under this administration? I have another question, because we the people, we want to know. We don't want to be misinformed. Did the House and Senate, including Republicans, not pass a continuing appropriation bill, H.R. 9747, which provides more funding, but the disaster fund is still deficient, according to Mayorkas, because of mismanagement and possibly overspending? You know, that's the bill that y'all are running around and saying that the Republicans shot down or didn't pass. H.R. 9747. Go find it on congress.gov. Wait a minute, I thought of another one, because this may be the one that is misinformation. This is the one. Was there not testimony before the House Budget Committee estimating Americans paying over $150 billion annually to support illegal immigration? No, I got it. It's this one that's misinformed. It's this one. Have they not sent over $64 billion and counting to fund the Ukraine war? Dang, I forgot about this one too. I got a question about this one as well. This one probably is misinformed as well. Did they not send over $17 billion in aid to Israel since last October? And for my last question that I just may be misinformed about, this is the one. I'm misinformed, definitely, with this one. Did she not tweet a couple of days afterwards that she was deeply concerned about the security and well-being of the citizens of Lebanon and pledged a total of $157 million and bringing the support total of $385 million totally? It gotta be that one. And if you didn't catch what I said earlier, they're funding Israel and Lebanon, which Israel struck Lebanon. Just think about it. So no, We're not misinformed. Y'all just misunderstanding that $750 was never enough to give to American taxpayer citizens. So you can miss me on that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. She told y'all, and I would have to say that I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure where that sister is from. She kind of sounds like New Orleans to me. But you know, for those of you Africans and tethers that don't understand how some of us can be light skinned and black, it's something called Cherokee Creoles. You know, and if you know anything about American history, you would understand it. We're Creole Maroons. So it would be a reason why we are the way we are. Yeah, we're light-skinned, but we are very much pro-black. Not mixed, just light. And shout out to that natural hair wearing sister and her edges. See, when you don't put that hat on your head, you can just flaunt your edges and go natural. So salute to that sister, because that's also a good look. So with that being said, I believe Joe Biden is showing that he's still president. I think maybe Jill Biden might be giving him a little bit of incentive to be on the petty side because he keeps jumping out there when Kamala is making other appearances or whatnot. So that's kind of interesting timing. But at the end of the day, all of this is a testament to the power of the grassroots. Because at the end of everything that they talk about, it goes back to this black vote that they don't have secured. The reason why they don't have it secured is because this amplifier of the voices of the people, the new black media, has spoken for our position, and they have to now really seriously look at it because it's a larger chunk of their voter base than they originally thought. And salute to all of you in the grassroots. Salute to my fellow comrades here at the new black media. Salute to all of you, Black First, and to everybody who wants to combat the grassroots and the voices in new black media. There's one major thing you should know. Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall and let us rise. Can you dig it? And the truth of the matter is, you might not be able to dig it because you're so consumed with the blue cult and that blue God. And you believe that anything that they tell you is gold and anything we tell you is coal. But let me tell you, pressure busts pipes and pressure to coal creates diamonds. And if you can't get with that and understand that your best chance for empowerment is aligning yourself with the code, getting in tune with your own culture and your own people, foundational Black American freedmen, and then coming together, as even some have even prophesied that one particular group of people would stand up. You know what that standing up is? That's standing up and proclaiming into the world who we are, and also verbally condemning our oppressor outright. Some people can say that the prophecy is being fulfilled there. If you believe that this would be where the tribe of Judah would be. Some people don't. But I would have to ask you, considering how all things are taking place, there really is only one source talking about the things we're seeing. All of that other, we this, we that. I just need to know why all the things that we are seeing in real time have been spoken of already, and we're watching them play out. Where is all the other things out there that is supposed to be this? And this is nothing. It's why we can certify the truth around here. Because the truth of the matter is, when destiny is with the righteous, everything else takes care of itself. And if you can't understand that and get down with this, well, I speak for myself. Beatzillapdx official, the Beatzillapdx official show. Those of you in the chat, the Black Grassroots, and the Voices of New Black Media. I am safe to say I speak for all parties involved when we proudly dedicate this song to you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
So, family, thank you again for tuning in to this midweek report. I greatly appreciate it. Again, hit that thumbs up button and share this out if you have not already done so, and subscribe if you have not already done so. And you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. You can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket, support this channel, you can definitely do so by way of Cash App. That's $beatzillapdx. We also have PayPal, which is Zilla Muzak. That is ZILLAMUZAK at PayPal. And so, we also have Patreon, which is Beatzillapdx official as well. So, with that being said, again, keep your notification bells on, and you never know what's going to go on. But this right here with what Joe Biden and the Kamala beefing, I'm interested to see how that plays out. Also, you have Jill Stein, who has just recently got the endorsement this week from Abandon Kamala, which I believe is the group that's down with Cornel West. So I guess by proxy, Cornel West now is endorsing Jill Stein. Of course, they had their beef, so I don't think he's going to personally come out and do it. But that was who he was with. So if they're now endorsing, I'm sure that he must be on board with that endorsement. And it is making waves, family. It is most definitely making waves. And it's going to make this election outcome very interesting. So let's stay tuned. Also, make sure we keep paying attention to what's going on world news wise. And also, last but not least, for all the family in Florida, hope that everybody stays safe. If you have to evacuate, please evacuate. And if you are in one of those areas and you're part of the helping crew, also be safe and stay protected being out there, because you never know what's going on out there. People like taking advantage of the moment. So for those of you who are in these conditions, tighten up and get your rest and be ready to ride this storm out. And man, prayers with you. So with that being said, we're out of here. Stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all. Have a blessed night.
When you know who Satan is, yes, sir, you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth. Yes. See, that's what you throw. Yes, right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.